there's a quite shift happening in Pakistan's politics, not in headlines, but in spreadsheets. And it's showing up in the provinces' budgets. Punjab, Sindh, KP, and Balochistan are asserting more control over their finances than ever before. But the question is, how much of that is real autonomy? And how much is just numbers on paper? Let's break Jawad Bukhari's article for Business and Finance Weekly. On the surface, it looks like the provinces are taking charge. Punjab's government, led by the PMLN, has projected a record surplus of 740 billion rupees for the next fiscal year. Balochistan increased its surplus to 51.5 billion rupees. KP, despite challenges, shows a projected of 157 billion rupees surplus. But Sindh, ruled by PPP, has gone the other way, showing a 38 billion rupees deficit in contrast to 298 billion rupees surplus the federal government expected. It all looks decisive until you realize that these numbers depend almost entirely on the Federal Board of Revenue hitting its tax collection targets. And that really happens. Pakistan federal government wants to reduce its budget deficit to 3.9% of GDP next year. But for that to work, the province needs to cough up a collective 1.46 trillion rupees in surplus. Trouble is, provinces don't raise enough revenue themselves. They amount for 30% of national expenditure, but finance only 17% of it. And why? Because key tax sources like agriculture remain largely untaxed, especially by powerful landholding cities. Agriculture contributes 23.5% to Pakistan's GDP and employs 37% of the labor force. Yet provinces fail to tax it meaningfully. Punjab says it wants 4% growth in agriculture next year and has even set up task force to figure it out. The federal government has now withdrawn tax exemptions on imported cotton and yarn, hoping to revive local farming and the textile industry. But while reforms sound promising, they often get stuck. Why? Because landed aristocrats resist change, especially when it hits their wallets. Another issue, local governments, despite constitutional mandates, no province has truly empowered elected local bodies. Most are run by bureaucrats, not representatives chosen by the people. In Punjab, the Local Government Act 2025 won't bring back direct elections for union council heads. Instead, councillors will vote for their top spots, keeping real power tightly controlled. So while provinces are flexing budgetary muscle, governance remains centralized and opaque. All of this plays into a growing feeling of exclusion, especially in southern Punjab and Hazara. PMLN Sardar Muhammad Yusuf wants a Hazara province, while PPP's Murtaza Mahmood is demanding South Punjab. Their argument is that development funds are unevenly distributed. One MP pointed out that 40 schemes were announced for Lahore, but only 3 for southern Punjab. So here's the big picture. Pakistan's fiscal system, where the center collects most of the taxes, provinces rely on federal transfers, it's under strain. Provinces want more control, but they still depend on the federal government's ability to meet its tax targets. And that rarely happens on time or in full. Meanwhile, reforms in taxation, agriculture, and governance keeps getting delayed, either due to political resistance or lack of will, until provinces can raise more revenue on their own and truly empower local governance. The push for self-assertion risks being more symbolic than structural. For real change, it's not just about budgeting better, it's about breaking the old habits of top-down control and building systems that serve people, not just power. For more on Pakistan's provincial finance and budget politics, read the full story linked in the description, and don't forget to share and subscribe for more grounded explainers.